And we're back. It's me, Coach Drew, uh, going today by the name Undeserving YouTuber because we are going to a brief deep dive, deep dive of this misconception that there are undeserving winners on Survivor. Started, of course, on the cesspool known as Survivor Reddit or just the online Survivor community in general. Now, I am very pro people having their opinions. I'm obviously. Having said that, um, it's strange that people will go to such lengths to bash or whatever certain winners of the show because they the average viewer deem this person not worthy of winning the game based off of the rules that they have set in their head, and we're going to get to that in a second. First, as you can see, I had yet another 30th birthday party yesterday, which makes, I believe, three that I've had in the last 3 weeks. I am officially 30 as of last week, but you know, 30 is 30. I've decided I wanted to do a lot for it. So this will be my last time filming from a different location for the next few weeks. I'll be back home being bored again after this week. So this episode is more of a intro to a series of episodes that I'm going to be doing, discussing certain winners that the internet has deemed not worthy. Now, whether I actually like these winners or not really doesn't matter. It's more coming from an athletic background, from a coaching background. I think that a win is a win, is a win is a win. I don't care if you went to edge of extinction and had to come back and win the game. I don't care if you are looked at as someone that was dragged to get to the end of the game. I don't care if you were, the best social player, but this person won all these immunities. I think that, and I feel like there are a lot of people that are slowly coming out of their holes that will admit there are many different ways of winning these games, especially Survivor. And then there are the others that think that people have to win this way or else they're just a shit winner and we shouldn't even pay attention to them. This person was robbed and this, that, and the other. It's like, well, no. And I will always go back to the New England Patriot defense of the year they went undefeated and they lost to the New York Giants in the Super Bowl. Um, the better team that season was probably the New England Patriots. Having said that, they still lost, and you don't see people going around saying the Giants didn't deserve to win because of this, that, and the other. And I feel the same way about Survivor winners. Now, yes, I have a ranking just like any other super fan of all my winners. But I don't, in my opinion, there's never been a winner of the show that it's like, no, that's bullshit that they won. I'm angry to the point where I'm going to write a thesis about why this person shouldn't have won. Um, and like I said, this is the first episode of, I don't know if I want to make it a 5-part arc, or there are a couple winners that I feel very strongly about positively that I know a lot of people don't. So we'll get to that when we get to that. So I guess we should start with what makes, according to the internet, what makes a good winner. Oh, well, they have to be the greatest strategic player that's ever existed, or they can't, they can't have a bitter jury because if it's a bitter jury, they just won because of, the jury's bitter and that's it. It's like, okay, I always look at the Ben, Mike Holloway, and let's go with Michelle Fitzgerald. Three people that won three very different ways. Ben with his idols, Mike with winning challenges, Michelle won her social game. And all three of them I have seen consistently bashed for years because they didn't win the show the right way. Which is crazy because when you do hear about people that the internet has deemed winning the show the right way, it's usually people that still had flaws, but they were more flashy for the casual audience or like the snobby fans that think that just because they know so much about the show, that they are the real people that know what it takes to really win one of these games, and everyone else is just wrong. Um, I I guess I would fall more into the latter category. Uh, despite the fact that I am sitting here telling the truth, saying that I don't think there's ever been a non-deserving winner, and I think that people that put those types of labels on players are doing it because they're bitter. They're always blaming these bitter juries for screwing it, but like I feel like the fans are the bitter ones in these situations. Just because Kathy didn't win Marquesas doesn't mean Vesepi is an undeserving winner, and I will always fight that one. I feel like the Vesepi hate has started to die down a little bit, thank goodness. But for years it was like, oh yeah, Kathy was robbed and blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, Vesepi made a move at Final Three, and it worked for her. Sorry, if you guys are all about these, you guys are all about these big moves, and it's so frustrating because even in like these online games where people feel like they have to emulate what they see on TV, or like I gotta make a big move at Final 18 because if I don't make a big move at Final 18, I'm not gonna win. And you're just sitting there like, well, no one's gonna care if you make a big move at Final 18. No one gives a shit. But you have I call them sociopaths, as I've mentioned before on here. People that only play the strategic part of the game. I think those people are crazy, and yeah, sometimes it works for them. Have at it. It's great. I don't think that you're a non-deserving winner. I just think you're a sociopath. It's not a big deal. Um, but you see these people try to consistently emulate some of the greats on the show, and then I'll say, oh yeah, I want to play more like a Vecepia game. It's like, well, I don't respect her win because what did she really do? It's like, well, she got to the end and won. I mean, that's all you really have to do. And she had a great final tribal, of course, as well. Those people went in there trying to lambaste her and uh, question her integrity and all that. It's like, yeah, everyone in this game lies, and I was glad that she was able to back it up. And you'll see that with a lot of the winners that I'm going to be discussing during this the series that we're going to be doing. Of Yeah, they didn't play the flashiest game all the time, but when it mattered, either them or someone in the jury, in one person's case, uh, made a very big case for themselves to win the game. I don't care about bitter juries because my opinion is the jury wouldn't be bitter if you didn't piss them off. It's not that hard to do to not piss off a jury to the point where they will be still bitter at the end of the game. I understand they might be a little upset when they initially get voted out, but I feel like enough time out of the game, they start to respect more. And if you didn't do your job of managing how they perceive you after they leave the game, then that's on you. Um, Coming from a J Brown that's never played the game. Uh, so, like I said, it's going to be more of a 5-part. I'm going to go ahead and say 5-part. It might end up being more, but whatever. Series about specific winners that I have seen being talked about online as non-deserving winners. And I want to do a deep dive and make the case for them that I really shouldn't have to do because they already made their cases to the jury that gave them the $1 million. Yet the internet just they love keep continuing these debates all these years later after these people have probably spent their money. People are still like, oh no, this they didn't deserve it because what did they do, or they only won challenges, or they only played the social game, or yeah, you do what works for you. That's all you have to do to win these games. You do what works for you and hope, there is luck there. There's luck there. And just hope that you're sitting at the end and have a chance to win. The jury person that I brought up earlier, I'm obviously gonna end up talking about Natalie White because people love hating on Natalie White. I don't. One of my favorite, if not my favorite, jury speech of all time, as I've mentioned on here before, is Drunk. Maybe Eric Cardona and Samoa basically going to bat for Natalie, and just the emotion on her face as he's talking. It's like, yeah, this is amazing because we finally have someone on the jury that is finally speaking out about the fact that it doesn't really matter, all these big moves that people feel like they have to do. At the end of the day, you have to do what you have to do to impress your specific jury. Another case is Chris Underwood, which we will also be talking about. I know Chris Underwood gets a lot of hate, but once again, he did what he had to do to get to the end of the game and win. And no matter what people think about the Edge, I've mentioned plenty of times I don't like the Edge of Extinction. I think it's a bad twist. I don't think people should be able to get back into the game after being voted out. Having said that, rules are rules, and a win is a win. And if they change the rules for a season and a different team or a different team, using my sports analogies, and a different player wins than should, tough cookies. You know, that's the way it has to be. So, yeah, I've mentioned 2 of the 5 that I'll be talking about. I think it's pretty obvious. At least 2 of the others of the 5 that I will be talking about during this series, and I would love to potentially go one-on-one with someone who has the opposite opinion or even the same opinion. I would love to have someone on just in general, just to either make a case that this person really didn't deserve something, or agree with me. Agreeing with me is fine too. Uh, but yeah, that, like I said, very brief episode. If you haven't, check out my JT video that I put out late, because of other things. That was a great discussion on the JT idol play and Samoa and Heroes versus Villains with Russell Hands. And yeah, feel free to check out any of these other videos that we have at the bottom. Other than that, I'm looking forward to being back home in a couple days. I'm looking forward to my old background, even though I love this luau party sign in the back. I think it's time for me to go back to my boring old apartment, and I guess we'll see y'all then. Until then, stay tuned.